Good evening, folks, and welcome to a Monday night edition of Bum Talk. I am your host, Jay Bums, along with the charismatic co-host,
Danny Bums.
Welcome to episode 27. Big combat sport this weekend, especially on a Sunday. We had a double header last night. Some boxing, boxing rare on a Sunday, but once in a while you get that. And obviously WWE traditional once a month Sunday night pay-per-views, and then we had some UFC Saturday. Some early Bellator due to London over the weekend, and then obviously some bare knuckle fighting with no boxing gloves. So Danny Buns, I pass you the ball in a bounce pass right now. What do you want to open up with, Danny Bums? A lot.
I don't know. What do you want to open up with?
Let's open. Got a prop today. Let's open up with Stomping Ground. WWE's first Stomping Ground pay-per-view, and the logo is literally this boot with Stomping Ground on it. It was the first pay-per-view named Stomping Ground. The pay-per-view, just gives some backstory, it didn't sell that much. According to Wrestling Zone, they've sold about maybe 5,000 seats is what they got confirmed. About 5,000 seats were sold out, and approximately 10,000 people were there.
See the boot?
Yeah, there's the boot. So it wasn't a fair received pay-per-view. A lot of empty seats. They blacked off a couple parts, but nonetheless, I guess it was an okay pay-per-view to say at least. We caught some of the matches. We caught the SmackDown tag teams. I know you told me you caught Ricochet last night.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people think that's the highlight of Stomping Grounds. I spoke to my coworker and a friend saying that's probably the highlight of Stomping Grounds. He won his first major title in WWE, so congrats to him. Then you mentioned also that they did the whole backstage promo thing where everyone was like, patting it back and everything, and to Triple H kind of gave him like the
they really try to sell it, man.
Like welcome to the big leagues, like that kind of stuff.
So oh my god, WWE is something else, man.
I mean, they want to push this young talent coming up, obviously. And we'll see who he fights next. Maybe Samoa Joe is next in line for Universal Championship. I think he deserves a run for a title.
So do a lot of people. And actually, I don't know, because I don't know what they have planned. WWE's
in the stage of dismissal.
I've always say that at post WrestleMania they're always in a weird place. This year they are more in a weird place than ever.
Competition too, that's why.
I thought it was a great WrestleMania. That was better than last year's WrestleMania.
Yes, I agree. 2018 was a bit
in a really weird place.
Weird place and a lot of competition from a lot of angles. Absolutely. You said that correctly. But yeah, it was okay. I mean, we had two televisions on. We had a tablet on and a TV on, so we kind of catch you both. But yeah, I mean, Stomping Ground didn't really impress me. Obviously, Daniel Bryan and Rowan retain against Heavy Machinery, Otis, and I forget the other guy's name. A fun match and entertaining. And then we had the two true heavyweights last night, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, two big men.
That was a decent fight.
It was just a little too long to me.
Yeah.
A little too long. Vince playing the typical heel, and Shane playing the heel.
Yeah, now he's a heel.
Pulling the referee and everything, attacking Roman and everything. But at the end of the day, Roman always overcomes the odds like he does. He's the big dog. Took over the ring.
Yeah.
And then an actual referee came out. I forgot. Referee came back, and then Roman Reigns did what he did. He pinned him and beat Drew McIntyre. So we'll see what happens. I want to see more Shane versus Roman Reigns. I really do. I want to see that. How about yesterday when Shane did Coast to Coast?
Yeah, that was fun.
New Jersey to California.
That's probably the only match. Well, and then the last match seemed pretty physical too.
Yeah, Corbin versus Rollins, which there's a whole mess of that because apparently the original special guest referee was supposedly Bobby Lashley. He was a heel, and then out of nowhere, Baron threw his card up. You know what? I'm going to throw Becky Lynch's opponent, Lacey Evans, as the special guest referee. And obviously, so what happened, and then you saw that Lacey Evans gave Seth a low blow, and then that's when the man came out.
Crazy. Yeah. And like what we just read, now I guess they're going to beef. That's going to be a build up to beef up the
next pay-per-view. Extreme was what's it called? Mixed match. It's called mixed match. Yeah. The officials call it, I think, mixed match when it's a male and female, where winner takes all at Extreme Rules. So you figure some kind of stipulation, like maybe, I don't know, steel cage match or one of those kind of things. Extreme Rules is the next pay-per-view in about 3 weeks. But yeah, I mean, overall it was okay. I mean, Didn't think anything else about it. The Bailey and Alexa Bliss match was kind of like an afterthought to me. And first of all, and I didn't know this. I forgot Alexa's on Raw. Why was she challenging for the SmackDown tag team title? SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yeah, I'm not. They're so lost with the whole like
wild card rule, right?
I don't understand that. Like, they're really Fox is. I feel like Fox is messing up with Vince's plans, but he kind of can't do anything about it. I really don't know. I don't want to look into it. I don't care. AEW's kicking ass.
Fighter Fest, right?
Fighter Fest coming up for free in the UFC in the US.
And Bleacher Report Live. So, and like you mentioned, and obviously New Japan has like their second biggest event, G1 Climax next weekend in Dallas, Texas. So a lot of stiff competition. But like you mentioned, WWE always posts WrestleMania is in a weird stage of transition. You know, new storylines, refresh characters you haven't seen, call-ups, and all that stuff. A lot of factors that involves them. But hopefully by SummerSlam, which I know SummerSlam is one of your favorite big four pay-per-views, hopefully things start getting into fruition. And we'll see what happens.
See where they go with that.
But besides that, I mean, the Becky match. I mean,
wasn't this card like just the same? Almost the same card as the Saudi Arabia fight.
So the biggest backlash was that most of these fights were either featured on the Saudi show or most of these fights already featured on SmackDown or Raw already. So it's kind of like just repeating what happened the past, I don't know, month, I guess. Right. Because May was Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank is always really good. But that was part of the criticism. The other thing was also, like I said, there's low tickets sale. Like I said, according to Wrestling Observer, I think it was that they sold about 5,000 tickets more or less. They had to close off. That had a black current certain parts because it wasn't sold out. So it is what it is. I mean, I didn't think too much of it. Honestly, I didn't really care about Stomping Ground. It's like, I was talking to someone at the park last night. Told me I wasn't really interested about Stomping Grounds. I mean, it's once a month pay-per-view, so it's not like it's every Sunday or something like that. So it is what it is. Yeah, I've seen worse.
Really? Maybe. I don't know.
I remember this in Colombia, 2017 Battleground. That was a boring pay-per-view. Remember Randy versus what's his name? The Indian guy.
Jinder Mahal?
Yeah, that was a boring pay-per-view. I remember that one. I was in Colombia.
Maybe. Is this the first Stomping Ground?
Yes, ever. Yeah, first ever. Yeah. I think it replaced Battleground or something. I'm not sure. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. They fail all time. So I'm sure they bounce back. Hopefully today Raw, SmackDown, we'll see. I guess new storylines or I don't know. We'll see. Usually we'll see what happens. But overall, yeah, WWE. Honestly, like Danny Bum mentioned, man, I haven't really kind of paid mind to it. I watch some highlights on YouTube, but that's about it. We're going to Raw in 2 weeks.
Oh, it's 2 weeks?
Yeah, July 8th, I believe. 2 weeks from today.
I guess I gotta watch it now.
Yeah.
So I'm not bored for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, so this is one more thing, I guess, before we go on to other sports. So there's a report over the weekend saying that Vince is considering during commercial breaks for us when we watch TV that the wrestlers stop wrestling during the commercial break. So I'm not sure what what the initiative is or what the idea is, but the report came out.
Break.
Yeah, a break. So
in between rounds.
Because he wants to make it more like sport oriented apparently now. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But Danny, hit it right on the spot. After WrestleMania, it's a weird stage, and then obviously on top of that, the stiff competition from AEW and in Japan too. They're still a force to be reckoned with. It's a lot for WWE, even though they're number one. And I'm gonna say this for the record, I disagree with Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista said in an interview, I forget what outlet it was. He said that AEW is not a competition to WWE. Perhaps maybe in money, they're not. Or maybe talent, but I think they are because there are a lot of wrestling fans here, and they're in this country, and there are a lot of wrestling fans who aren't WWE fans. They're just indie fans or alternative options to WWE. So I do think that AEW is a direct challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've always said it. AEW should never challenge directly to WWE. Just they do their thing, ride the wave, and that's how you get their attention. Exactly. But yeah, that's about it for Stomping Ground. Didn't think too much about it. Any thoughts for you?
I guess we gotta look forward to see what happens tonight and then build up to the Raw that we're going to, and then hopefully maybe Stomping Grounds. Maybe what the thing is. Maybe it's because what the wild card is the whole what throws them off is the whole it's those Saudi shows or those live pay-per-views that they do. Mm-hmm. Even in Australia, I kind of feel like that throws everything off a bit.
It kind of does.
And that's why last year post WrestleMania was also a bit of a mess too, because they had
Crown Jewel, right?
Right.
The Greatest Royal Rumble, I think it was called.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
they had it right.
Crown Jewel was November, and then this was, I forget what it was called.
Yeah, so.
And then
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hopefully it'll shape right well into SummerSlam, because that's a big show for them. It's in Toronto this year, and also they have legitimate competition.
Starting in October, yeah. AEW officially declaring for either Tuesday night Dynamite or Wednesday night Dynamite. It'll be 2-hour shows. I guess they're just waiting for a confirmation of what day. So we'll see what happens with that. Anything else regarding WWE? I want to know what Dave Meltzer gave this card.
What I've really been liking what they're doing is the whole 24/7 thing. At first I thought it was stupid, but now it's really entertaining.
Me
with
too.
Dave Maverick thing.
Drake Maverick and R-Truth, yeah.
That was gold.
It was golden.
And I also like what Bray Wyatt is doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is what makes it entertainment.
Yeah,
this is entertainment. This isn't really wrestling.
No, absolutely.
Like if you go to start watching WWE right now and see the Bray Wyatt thing, you really wouldn't get it because you don't know who he was.
His transformation
if you know
character.
Bray Wyatt, you'd think this is genius, which I think is absolute genius.
Yeah, he's one of the best He's one of the best.
Can't wait to see where they go with that.
Yes.
And I'm happy that Vince is letting him run with that, and he also let Drake Maverick run with that idea. Right?
It was his idea. So he got married first, and officially, and then they did it again, obviously with featuring R-Truth in the wedding. But that was gold. Like Danny Bones mentioned, when it first introduced it about 3 weeks ago, when Mick Foley came out and says that the third hour is more raw, more edgy, I go, this is dismissal. But no, I mean it's like you said, it's entertainment. That's exactly what it is. It's cool. I remember 2 weeks ago when we went to Saudi, R-Truth pinned I think Jinder Mahal into the airplane. Remember that?
Yeah.
So it's cool. And actually, it came out today. An article about R-Truth getting this push that Vince loves R-Truth because R-Truth will do anything.
Yeah.
That's what the article said, that Vince loves him because he'll do anything. If he doesn't care if it's stupid, if it's comical, or that's why Vince loves R-Truth, and he's giving him this kind of push, I guess, for his last couple of years in WWE. But yeah, I mean that's been probably the highlight for WWE 24/7 because the wild card rule throws us off.
Throws everyone off.
And it's like you said last night or the day before, like, just unify, man.
Yeah, I'm just like,
it's just so annoying. It really is.
I mean, hopefully, maybe we'll see what happens in SummerSlam, but
yeah, like you said, possibly unification. We'll see down the line. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna change things right before AEW officially launches in the fall
because it's like, who's the champion if both of them are on both shows? All champions. It's just like a mess. It's
because you remember.
It's obviously because Fox is involved.
Yeah, and obviously there's always TV rights pressures. We want this angle. We want this. We want to feature this guy. We want to feature this star. So obviously, a lot of politics behind doors regarding this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I said about WWE. Like I said, I don't really watch it no more. Just highlights here and there, and then Instagram. All right, Denny Bums. What's next on your list? Let's see. We have some WWE tonight, Monday Night Raw, in about an hour. What else we got? Let's see.
We did the UFC.
Let's do the UFC, right?
UFC was in South Carolina this weekend.
Small
UFC
card.
Greenville,
yes.
Ta-da! And the return of the Korean Zombie after he lost to Zaire Rodriguez in one of the craziest
fights we've ever seen.
I just ended crazy. It wasn't that great.
The veteran, the Korean Zombie. If you guys don't know, he was on WEC before UFC started. That's a World Extreme Cage Fight, I think it was called. Anthony Pettis came from there. John Faber, Dominic Cruz, those guys. So he's been fighting for a long time. He came back 6 months? No, he fought in November. Yeah, about 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
Fought.
When is Yair? What's up? Yair likes to fight once every year and a half.
So those Korean Zombie, he fought once in 2017, one 2018, then one in 2019.
All right.
But different with Yair is that he was a rising contender.
Yeah.
Korean more like the age veteran experience, but. Yeah, Yair, I'm not sure what's gonna happen with him. He probably wants a big fight, a big card, maybe in Texas.
There's a beat.
Oh, he's scared about Zabit, I think.
Yeah, Zabit's a beast.
Zabib. But the UFC was this Saturday at South Carolina. Pretty. It wasn't a big card. John Lineker was supposed to be in the card, but the fight got canceled. I don't know if it was a weight cut or some kind of injury, so it was kind of a small card. The main event obviously was headlined by the veteran Korean Zombie versus the I guess contender Renato Moicano, who just lost to Aldo a few months ago and lost to Ortega like about 2 years ago, or about a year ago, I think.
Deron Wynn was on that card. He opened it up.
Now you mentioned
fight of the night.
That was the Golden Boy MMA when that fight.
Yeah,
that
he fought on the Golden Boy MMA card. He won the co-main event. And he beat that guy that used to fight in UFC. Now he's pro wrestling. I think he fights for Major League Wrestling.
That's a Cormier guy, Dan Cormier guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was
November. He got to win.
That was November.
Apparently, it was one hell of a fight. I didn't see it.
That was November 2018, right? That match, Lila versus. Damn, feels so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like $40 that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Well, we watched it though. We did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Korean Zombies.
I think only had like 30,000 pay-per-view eyes. I think probably had more. I don't know.
I think you're right. But that's
really
the ballpark.
bad.
I mean, it was his first time, dabbling into MMA promotion. So, with two old men. But yeah, I mean, so everyone's a big fan of the Korean Zombie. Dana's a big fan of the Korean Zombie. As veteran, everyone likes him. He's kind of like the baby face to say, like that in wrestling, more or less. He always puts on good fights, and he delivered. He delivered in about less than 30 seconds. He hit.
Oh yeah.
He hit the jab, and then got him with the cross, and then I think it was at 33 seconds, but just knocked out Renato. Yeah. A young guy, I think he's 25, 26 years old, and just knocked him out. And the Korean Zombie said in the post fight that I want a top 4 opponent, so I want to see him fight Frankie like last year. Remember that was the original fight, Frankie versus Korean Zombie. Then
that's actually still a good fight. He's fighting for the title. I forgot. Frankie's already booked.
But two veterans, they're in their mid 30s. They're about almost hitting the end of their prime.
Who's the beat fighting?
I don't know.
Apparently he's lined up with Brian Ortega, but that's not even confirmed yet.
That was mentioned a couple times.
Probably in August, right?
Yeah, but Ortega's medically not cleared till I think last month he was cleared. So I'm sure I'll take a few. Well, I wouldn't think August because August the cards.
That's the LA card.
Yeah, the card's already Anaheim card. Right? That card's kind of already booked. I mean, they could add last minute stuff like that. Is Cerrone versus Ferguson a couple weeks before, but maybe October, maybe not, maybe the New York card, November or October. Usually that's another big slot for pay-per-views. But I would like to see Ortega versus the Beat. Yeah, that's a good match. But back to the Korean Zombie, who, if you don't know this, he in 2013 he fought Jose Aldo for a title, got knocked out in the 4th round, and then he had to do military time in Korea. I think it's 2 or 3 years. That's why he took off so long. Came back in 2017, won his first match. Then he lost to a year in a weird way to say it, or unorthodox way. And then he came back and fought and just knocked out this little kid with a nice jab right there. Boom. Fell on the floor. Crazy highlight.
Happy for him. I like him.
Yeah, like I said, he's a likable guy. You can't hate on him. He's like a baby face to say.
Dana loves him. Is huge on him. Yeah,
Dana loves him. And apparently Dana said after, I guess they did like a FaceTime kind of thing. Dana promised the Korean Zombie that the UFC will be going to South Korea maybe sometime this year or next year.
Sweet.
Speaking about countries, UFC makes her debut in Uruguay.
Saw that.
Where Valentina Shevchenko is Valentina? Is Valentina?
Yeah. Against someone she's lost before.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's not even a pay-per-view. Usually
it's a fight night.
UFC, they like to now ever since 2018 forward, they like to put their belts all the way on
pay-per-view. Yeah. Or you would have figured at least it'll be a UFC on ESPN card, not ESPN Plus.
Right.
Like the big fight. So yeah, they make the Uruguay debut. So slowly, UFC is treading into new waters. Obviously, this week you heard about the PI in China. I think.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like bigger than the one in Las Vegas. I think. But yeah, UFC obviously they're a global monster. They're like WWE. They're everywhere. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so I really don't know what this means for Korean Zombie. I guess he's a wild card in the division now.
He is.
He can come in.
You mentioned Ortega. You think maybe Jeremy Stevens? Is that a good fight for him?
That's a good fight for him. That's absolutely a good fight for him. Cause he just lost. He lost to Aldo and then he lost to Zabit.
That's right. And not Zabit lost to tough guys. I mean Jeremy lost to tough guys. He didn't lose to no bums.
That'd actually be a great matchup. I like that.
If
they haven't fought already. But I don't think so.
I don't think so. But they're both veterans. A lot of fights. They're about mid-30s. So I think that makes sense because you figure Edgar fights Holloway next month. You figure that Ortega's Zabit is probably the next thing coming up. Moicano was number 5, obviously, and then Aldo's up there too. So who knows? Because Aldo fought the Korean Zombie like I said 6 years ago for a title, maybe that too. So there's options. I think Dana will probably want to run just because it's a rematch and it was 6 years ago. maybe Aldo versus the Korean Zombie. So we'll see what happens. But obviously Aldo has other plans too. I think he had mentioned or hinted that he wants to retire at the end of the year, or something to that extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was it for the UFC. Like I said, the card wasn't really that big or that stacked to say. I mean, granted, they were in South Carolina, so surprised that Wonderboy wasn't in that card. I think he's from South Carolina.
Yeah.
And
then going over to...
Not the Octagon.
We're going over to the PBC card last night.
Sunday Night Boxing.
Yeah, so it was Jermell Charlo versus Jorge Cota, who was filling in for an injured
Tony Harrison,
who was the WBC junior middleweight champion of the world.
Who?
It was a rematch for a controversial decision
Back in December, yeah. Who running again? Harrison said he broke his wrist, or what was it?
Yeah, the
ankle
surgery.
Ankle surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it happens in boxing. I'm not too sure, but whatever.
Yeah. So so he's filling him in for him, and as expected, he killed him.
Well, like Danny Bones, I remember you said it last night, but right before the match started or just started, he's like, "You want to see a murder?" He literally said that, and then like, I think I went to the bathroom and I came back and I go, "Oh, okay, yeah." He fell twice in the second round, right?
No, he fell once and then he got back up. I completely agree with his tweet. That ref did a really bad job after the first knockdown. The dude had his hand on the rope.
Okay. As he was falling, or as holding on?
And then the ref just grabs his leg. He's like, "Okay, you're good. Go." I'm like, "Yo, call the fight. He's about to die," and then he almost died.
Well, like Danny Bowman mentioned, the fight was just about to start, or it just started. He goes, "You want to see a murder? Here you go."
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, props to Cota taking a fight. I think at 2 week notice, he said, because obviously
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
Tony Harrison somehow injured his ankle, I guess during training, or I don't know what the case was. And then this is Jermell, right? I got confused both of them. This is Jermell. Jermell, yeah. Who, like you said, he lost in December, controversial because both. But I mean, it's like I told you, even though it wasn't the fight that he wanted, I guess it's a tune-up fight. It keeps his the engine rolling for him. So whenever he does fight, whenever he fights Tony Harrison,
sometime later this year.
Fall?
Absolutely, yeah. And I forgot Guillermo Rigondeaux was on the
great fight.
He was. I saw the scorecard. He was up. He was down in all scorecards.
You told me because that was the 8th or 9th round.
I felt like because of that, the ref should have just given that guy some breathing room. Like, yo,
because he was up in the fight.
Yeah, for that reason, man. He freaking stole. I mean, I don't want to say stole it, but come on, the dude was clearly beating him.
No, but that knockout.
That was a good fight, though. Yeah, that was so entertaining.
And the way he felt, his hand just felt like on fours. And then I mean, you kind of saw we thought, okay, he's all right, but you saw him, he was still wobbling a little bit when the ref asked him, "Are you okay?" or "Are you good?" Whatever he asked him. You could see he was still kind of huh?
Yeah.
And then when the ref stopped it, you still saw he was
yeah, okay, I can see that. But that's the thing with the Cota thing, he was worse. And the guy just looks, okay, you're good, go fight.
So maybe because he wants to make it up. You know what? I messed up in the code.
I told you it was Al Heyman. He whispered in his ears, yo, just let him go.
Like the referees have the little earpiece.
He's fine. Just let him go. He wants his boys to look good.
But yeah, congrats to the Charlo.
Yeah, man.
The other one fights this week against Steven Adams on Showtime.
The guy who won the contender because they have no one else for him to fight. Because anyone that's relevant, Jermenchenko's there. I'm pretty sure that's the fight. Should he get past
Steven Adams?
Steven Adams, that's Jermenchenko.
That's on Showtime. I don't think that's pay-per-view. I think that's just regular Showtime, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Showtime...
And, where am I going with this? Yeah, so that's it. The 154-pound division is obviously predominantly owned by PBC, the other title being owned by Jamie Malignaggi. Well, he's a title holder, and he fights on the zone, Golden Boy. So, I don't know. That will probably never happen. Cross-promotion like that. But it's crazy. I explained it a couple weeks ago when Julian Williams, surprisingly defeated Jared Hurd. 154 is, this crazy thing because...
Remember that fight.
I'll tell you the wheel. Charlo has beaten Williams. Williams beat Hurd. Hurd beat Harrison, and Harrison beat Charlo.
It's like you said, it's like a spinning wheel, I guess, to say more or less.
Yeah, it's insane.
Or more like a genealogy tree kind of thing like that. Something
so
like that.
It's I don't. Who's number one? I don't know. We find out. The original plan was for Hurd to
obviously
win, and then the winner of Harrison and
Charlo
to fight at the end of the year. Obviously, that's been
both for shot in the foot because obviously
Because and I'm hearing Hurd might
get a rematch.
Might get the rematch. So that's probably next for Jason Williams.
I guess
Jason Williams reminds me of just so much of Kamaru Usman.
In what sense?
It's like, I didn't think he'd win. I know he was good, but he even looks like him, and he just like he acts like him. I'm like, they're just the same. But there's both. I just didn't think that they would beat I was convinced Tyrone was gonna beat Kamaru.
I think all of us were.
I was convinced Hurd was gonna destroy that man, and it was almost the complete opposite with both occasions.
We know for a record, Dana didn't want that to happen. Dana didn't want Tyrone to beat.
Yeah, he was so happy.
If it was WWE, Dana would definitely interfere in that match.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to her match. I remember that was back. That was in May, I think. Yeah. And they mentioned that fight. Her was a slow starter, but he started that fight very slow. By the time he picked it up, it was like, the fight wasn't fully over, but the fight was, it's kind of a little too late to start now and come back. But it is what it is, and like you said, in the sport of boxing, the MMA, there's always a puncher's chance. Just. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. There you go. That's a big example. Everyone has a chance in any sport.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter.
So who do you think is the best at 154?
I'm gonna go with Charlo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Charlo. Just because also a little biased. The brothers and everything. The champions.
I think he might be, but he's got to prove it.
No, of course.
He's got to get all 3 straps.
Absolutely correct. He's got to connect the Infinity Stones for the 154 division.
You can't.
You can't obviously.
You only get 3.
Yeah. Because Monica's obviously over in the zone. Unless
who the hell? They have, I think. Oh, I forgot. They have Jesse Vargas lined up for him.
For Monica?
Yeah, because they're both on the zone, and he won his.
And they're both Mexican, right?
He won his 154
debut, right?
Debut.
Yeah.
Against Humberto Soto, a fucking 50-year-old man.
That's boxing for you. You win one fight, title shot.
Hey, that happens in the UFC too. You know what happens to Nate Diaz? Should he win?
But Nate Diaz is like MMA royalty though. Like,
should he beat Pettis? Boom, automatic title shot.
They know why he's a title shot, man. You name it when you want it.
3 years out, boom, one win, automatic title shot.
He took October will be. Really? It's been 3 years. Damn. I remember that night. I went to Colombia the night rematch. I remember that night. Damn, 3 years. UFC 202, the biggest card up until last year's 228. Is that one? Could be bigger? Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah.
So 154, man. It's if you had to see what happens.
We'll find out next Saturday. The next piece of the puzzle, I guess.
Well, no, why is next Saturday?
Next Saturday is Charlo versus Adams.
That's 160.
Oh, right, that 154. Sorry. Super welterweight.
Yeah, so I guess we'll find out in the second half of 2019 what happens there.
Yep. We also got a lot of fights for a second half. Pacquiao versus.
Well, in terms of the junior middleweight. Or super welterweight.
Super welterweight junior. I hate
and then we
that.
We also have. Well, that's not one of the original. No, that's not one of the original weight classes of boxing.
I just hate.
That's what MMA is pushing for, to have those in between ones.
Oh, please don't.
So,
but it was a fun night of boxing. I tell you what, I enjoyed it more than
and then Joey Spencer, he's PBC Prospect of the Year. He got the win.
In 6 rounds. Was 6 round fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an 8th fight or 9th. Good for him. What else?
That card was much better than Stomping Grounds because we had on the TV we had the boxing fight, and then on tablet we had.
Yeah, I think that was more.
We had it
at times.
We had like background noise, I guess, and they kind of finished at the same time, like 10:30. Remember?
Exactly.
About 10:30, 10:35 finished. Like,
I didn't even care for Stomping
at that point. It didn't. But okay. I mean, what else we got? Any bums? We did the UFC. We got Stomping
Bellator.
Bellator. That's right. It was out of London, and it was during it was over here the afternoon, obviously. Bellator 223 from London, from the SSE Arena. 4 Guillermo Sassy's Bellator middleweight championship versus Rafael Lovato, who is a 35-year-old man with only 9 fights, professional fights.
He looks like he's 35. How many professional fights? 9.
Going to that fight, it was number 10. That was number 10 going to the fight. And Gegard's 33, so he's still in his prime. He has like 54 fights, so he's been fighting since 14, I think, because in Europe is different, like the whole.
He was 14 years old.
Like 14, 15.
It's like Canelo.
in poorer countries and all that stuff, different rules and all that stuff. Kids fight younger age. He's 33 years old. He's still young. He's been fighting for 20 plus years. Obviously he's the heavily favorite. He came from UFC. Was close to the title shot, didn't work out for him. On Bellator, destroyed Roy McDonald last year. Just annihilated him. And then this fight was supposed to happen sometime late last year, but then I think one of them got hurt. I forget, one of them got hurt, and then the rematch got booked. And I saw the match tonight on my phone, and I agree with the decision. It was a majority decision. It was 3-2 basically, and it was just so weird. Like Rafael, if you get to watch the match, it's free. Rafael won the first 2 rounds easily, then Gegard won the last 2. And then I don't know if it was in Rafael's head, but he dominated the 5th round. Like I don't know if he wanted to just take a breather for 3 and 4 because he was gassed out. And then 5th round, he just did enough to win the 5th round, and the surprise victory for Rafael Lovato.
Yeah, I didn't even see the fight.
But yeah, I mean you could watch it. I mean it was 2-2 then 1. Rafael, I don't know. He was getting
sounds like a close fight.
He was getting dominated 3rd or 4th round. I go, it's over. And then I guess in the 5th round, I guess his will, his spirit, I don't know. It was part of his game plan. He just came back and he kind of held him in the ground almost all the 5th round.
I know that James Gallagher won the fight.
He did, and I don't know if you heard his post-fight interview. He apparently, I guess during training camp, had a panic attack.
And almost quit MMA.
Almost quit MMA. He was texting his coach and all that stuff. I don't know if it's real or I mean, I'm sure panic attacks are real, but I don't know to what extent it was. But he did mention he wanted to quit. He had his coach. I think he texted him. He said, and I guess they were able to calm him down. But he still won.
Good for him.
Good for him. It was a catch rate, 140. So I'm not sure why, but good for him. He bounced back after his loss. I think he's 9-1. He's probably what's his name? The coach for SPG again?
SPG.
What's
John Kavanagh.
He's probably his second best fighter behind Conor McGregor. I don't know who else is under his
Conor Nelson.
Yeah, he's not a contender though.
Dylan Danis, Artem Lobov.
Yeah, he has Gunnar Nelson. Fighter. You're right, but Gunnar Nelson is kind of like a veteran to me. But as far as prospect, Ballinger won, obviously. Congratulations to him. Whatever else he's going through, I'm sure the life of a fighter is not easy. The pressure and all that stuff. Taking hits in your head, wherever. But it is what it is. And then the other one was the veteran Paul Semtex Daly, London's own. He came back from a 2-fight losing streak, lost to MVP back in February. And he came back and he I saw the highlights, dominated this guy. He fought nobody, to be honest.
Yeah.
To be honest, fought nobody.
That's good.
But he needed the victory, and he was home. It was London anyway, so it was good for him. So it was a decent card, at best. Bellator's off for a whole month now.
Yeah, well, they had a really good card last week. I really enjoyed it. This is probably the first time I ever see a full Bellator card.
Yeah, and last Sunday I saw best Bellator card. Is this better than the New York card I went to 2 years ago? When they made their debut, much better. And yeah, from top to bottom, that's been the best Bellator card I've seen. But yeah, they're taking a break now. Bellator slows down in the summer. Usually they'll pick it up in the fall with the featherweight tournament that starts for Patricio's Pitbull's belt. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Bellator, they're doing their thing. They're definitely the number two promotion in the world and in the States.
I agree.
But yeah, that's about it for Bellator. But I know what you want to talk about, Danny Bones.
Yeah, man.
We're going to talk about
the only thing that this week except yesterday, but I actually stopped what I was doing on Saturday to stream this.
We're going to talk about something we rarely talk about. And I think the promotion...
Bare Knuckle Boxing 6.
It's called Bare Knuckle Fighting, so it's
BKFC.
Okay, 6. BKFC. So there you go, guys.
Artem Lobov versus Malignaggi. This was a crazy... build up. This stems from all the way from
2017.
Yeah, 2 years ago, McGregor Mayweather when he was a sparring partner, and I realized a lot this week after that fight because
break it down
because it's bare knuckle boxing.
Yes.
And when I found out about it, let me Google the rules.
What are the rules, by the way?
Same thing as boxing. Only thing is different are the gloves. That's it.
There's gloves.
There's no gloves. That's it.
And then it's 2 minute 5 rounds.
Oh, and that's stupid bullshit. That's it. And just the time is different.
And 5 rounds.
2 minutes, 5 rounds. I think it's the main event.
If it goes, okay.
I think
so. At best 10 minutes, I guess to say.
And I'm like, okay, wow, Artem, he's 13 and 15 MMA
Subpar.
fighter. MMA fighters are. This is what I took into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 13, 15 MMA fighter. That's not really a good record for MMA.
Doesn't matter what promotion you're in.
Another fact: MMA fighters are not good. They're not the greatest boxers. They cannot hang with boxers if it's boxing. If it's a boxing match. Unless so that in consideration, I'm like
those two factors.
I'm like, and he's fighting a former two-time world champion.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this man might kill Artem. I told myself, we might see the first murder in combat sports in a long time. Because it's all just hands. And what is Paulie, you know?
And is it weight? This is probably a dumb question, but it's same weight class, right? I'm assuming?
Boxing. So it's at 154.
Which is super welterweight.
Yeah, and which is comfortable for both of them because Paulie, the biggest he ever fought was 147.
And then obviously 145.
145.
And he probably carries up 170, 160, more or less.
So I'm watching, and the build-up was just
the promos
crazy. Paulie was selling this fight, like spitting in his face, slapping him. It was beautiful. And when you use the whole like MMA versus boxing mantra, that's gonna sell.
And absolutely correct. And I remember that week of the fight on Instagram, I follow MMA Junkie and MMAfighting.com. Like, I saw more promos and coverage for that than the UFC fight for Saturday. Not that I'm trying to diminish the UFC fight, but like everything I saw on my feed was Paulie.
And it was a big event because even Showtime was tweeting about it. Like they were behind their analyst, their man.
Really? Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So because you want to give props to your man.
Like they were tweeting about it. Like, yo, tune in, man. We're with our guy, whatever, Paulie Malignaggi. All right, so whatever. So not just that, I'm like, this is basically. I just thought like this is not. I mean, and at first I'm like, okay, obviously the boxer's gonna win. The boxers always win in these situations because they always fight under their rules.
Yes.
This is why I'll always have the utmost respect for James Toney because he was a world. I don't know if he's a world champion, but he was a high-level, famous boxer that actually had the balls to step into an octagon.
Yeah, and
he got killed. But hey, at least he did it.
He's the first one to do it.
He got all these fucking the kid from New Orleans, the kid who's fighting in the World Boxing Super Series final.
Oh,
remember when Conor called out Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Well, that kid is managed by Mark Wahlberg, and then the kid goes, like, "Yo, Conor, I'll fight you, but in the ring." I'm like, come on. Like the A side, there would be Conor by far.
Of course, obviously he's a draw.
Anyway, it gets me upset. It's like that's why James Toney will always have my respect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've seen that fight, by the way.
Yo, he would chase Dana White around the country, begging him for a fight.
And this is before UFC got big, to be honest. This is like early 2003, 4, 5, more or less. But what Danny Bump said is true. So when you look at your record, you're subpar, and MMA fighters in general aren't the best boxers, more or less, unless you're Dustin Poirier,
He's a really good boxer.
Well, he started as a boxer.
Really good boxer.
For
an MMA fighter.
For those two factors, you would assume, okay.
It just got me thinking. So then I'm watching the fight. I'm like, I'm going to see a murder. I'm going to see a murder. First round goes to Artem. I'm like, whoa. Okay.
Automatic. Dominance.
I had it all around. Okay. Second round, I think Paulie. The next 3 rounds, it's either 4-1 or maybe 3-2.
Okay.
Lobov. I'm like, what the hell?
What was I
don't know what was it, but then that got me thinking so much. I'm like, maybe because that got me thinking. Maybe I think a big factor is Paulie's at the end, man. He's like 38. Like you gotta leave. Like he's
Artem's also like in his late 30s, right?
I don't know.
More or less.
And it's like he hasn't fought in like 2 years and stuff like that. It's just like I felt like
there's a lot of external factors too.
That's when I thought about it. But at the same time, like this guy's I believed him when he went on the MMA fighting show. I believed him when he said I can beat right now an MMA fighter in his prime in boxing. I completely believe that because he's a boxer.
Not anymore.
They're different. And I think I'm thinking if that was Max Holloway in there, that was Dustin Poirier, I might have killed that man. It's Artem Lobov. I mean, all due respect, that's literally Conor McGregor's side piece.
It is. So
and that got me thinking. I'm like, holy shit! If that happened, and he was talking, he was talking crap about like Paulie saying how he's a punching bag with legs, and I kind of believe him because his fighting in UFC is not that.
It's not that impressive, to be honest.
Paulie's a really good analyst because I completely when they asked Paulie like when he was on MMA fighting with the Luke guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's like, what do you think that Paulie does good? He goes, like, he has a chin. I completely agree. Paulie has a crazy chin. But, like...
All right.
Like, what happened, man? Like, oh, my God. And it's like, imagine if that was Dustin in there. Or Max.
Yeah.
Who are guys that would kill Artem.
Or guys who are semi-good strikers or striker base. Not just those. So let me ask you one more question. Teletape, was Artem a little bigger than him height-wise and reach?
So, yeah, I think that's what helped him out too.
To a certain, I would say to a certain extent, obviously.
And you know what? Probably also, you know what helped him? He was a lot more aggressive.
Okay,
so I feel like that's another factor. That's what the judges looked at that and said, okay. But I think after seeing that, I tweeted that, and I feel the same way. I think now we know.
I saw that.
Now we know what happened in those infamous sparring sessions 2 years ago.
Yeah, or you can at least confirm, you know.
Yeah, who would have gone out of that? Who got the best of who? I'm sure even John Kavanaugh said on the Joe Rogan Experience, he said obviously Paulie got his shots in.
Yeah, of course.
But Paulie, I mean, obviously is very biased, but both Dana,
of course,
again very biased, but both Dana and John said I thought Conor got the best of him.
All right. Do you know who cornered Artem for the fight? Was it John Kavanaugh?
No. His own people, other people.
Probably his own people. Okay. All right. I mean.
But wow. Now we'll see what happens. And then I after I completely agree with Paulie, he retired. He said he's done, and
hey, you know
he contributed to combat sports with the whole McGregor thing. You know, good guy. I like Art. He's a great analyst.
Paulie.
Like boxing analyst. He knows boxing.
Yeah. Did Conor say anything post-fight? I mean, I looked it up right after. I don't think
he never really disliked Art Paulie, but when he had to bark back, he had to bark back.
The only thing he posted was a good luck to Artem the night of the fight, but I didn't see any.
But dude, think about it. Like, if that was Conor,
younger, striker.
Conor is is a really good striker.
Yeah,
or a decently good striker.
And much younger too, so. That's another factor too. Obviously, elite UFC record. He fought Mayweather. Paulie didn't fight Mayweather. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to say, and to say at least that this bare knuckle fighting, even though we don't cover it, it was probably the biggest combat sport event of the weekend.
Yeah.
Debatable, we know. Because Stomping was let down. UFC wasn't the biggest card. Bellator was in London, so some people missed it. And then boxing. I mean, it was Sunday night boxing on Fox, so it's a fight, but it wasn't. It didn't have the same hype when it was supposed to be Harrison versus Charlo. It was just Charlo versus Cota. I almost said Cota.
Yeah.
Cota.
So I think Artem should get like a. And then there's another thing going on. I'm like, wow, maybe Artem should have fought at 155 this whole time.
Possibility, you know. I mean,
maybe the weight cut was killing him.
Could be.
Maybe he should try next time wherever you could. I know he's allowed to fight in MMA. What is it with the bare knuckle boxing? He's allowed to fight in MMA. So
did he say choo choo?
James Vick was in his corner and he said choo choo motherfucker. And then James Vick called out Paulie.
That's right. Vick's a former UFC fighter too.
Well, James Vick lost to Artem in April.
Well, that's weird. It is what it is.
But Paulie's done.
But
he's a legend though. I love
he goes down as one of the best, like you mentioned. But it was a pack. Now I think like I said, was a packed combat sport weekend because you had bare knuckle, you had wrestling, you had UFC, MMA, and you had some boxing on Sunday night.
Well, bare knuckle's combat sport.
It is, yeah. We don't. But obviously, it's a big bare knuckle fight. I wonder how much a review costs. $50? Probably. Because AW don't think costs $50, so maybe 40. But yeah, think that's about it. Then, any last minute thoughts, anything at all?
No, man. We got freaking middleweight fight this weekend. Dimitri Andrade.
That we have also Charlo.
If you guys want to watch, it's a middleweight action with Charlo because he's the middleweight.
Then we have
Charlo.
We have two heavyweights in Ngannou versus Dos Santos.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a packed weekend again. 3 fights, at least 3 big fights, and there's an ESPN Plus fight too.
Yeah.
In Japan, I forget for what belt it was, but yeah. I mean, I think that's about it. I mean, Seth Rollins going crazy on Twitter right now, but I don't know what that's about.
We'll see how that shapes out. We'll see how our Monday Night Raw in 2 weeks shapes out, and how that leads into the next 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah, because that's the going show. That's the go home show too.
Basically, that's gonna set up the final quarter for 2019 of WWE. We'll see how that shows up. We'll see what happens in the world of combat sports.
Yep. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check us out at Twitter at BumpTalk_. Subscribe to our channel, Bump Talk, 88 subscribers. I got another one last night. Thank you so much. Close to 100. Stay tuned. This episode will be uploaded either tonight or tomorrow. Thank you guys and see you in 2 weeks. Peace.